Why? Why would you do this to me? Isabelle smiled, not with guilt, but satisfaction. Don't take it personally, Lucy. You can't blame a man for wanting the best. Something shattered inside Lucy. Tears streamed as years of buried pain erupted. I raised you. I gave everything, my youth, my dreams, my happiness, so you could have a life. I starved so you could eat. I worked myself sick so you could go to school. I turned down love and opportunities, and you repay me with betrayal? Then Isabelle delivered the final blow. We never asked you to sacrifice your life for us, so stop acting like we owe you. Lucy sat in the back seat, her forehead pressed against the cool window. It was late, far too late to still be on the road, but her father had insisted they return home after the family event. Her mother had wanted to wait till morning, but he waved off her concerns. He never liked sleeping anywhere except his own bed. Her younger siblings had stayed behind with their aunt, but Lucy, ever the responsible eldest, had gone along to help her mother run errands. Exhaustion tugged at her. She shifted, lying across the back seat, her seatbelt still snug around her waist. She was drifting into sleep when blinding headlights appeared. A sharp gasp from her mother, the violent blare of a horn. Then, her mother's scream. The crash came like thunder. Metal crumpled. Glass exploded. The car rolled once, twice, before collapsing into stillness. Then silence. Lucy's breath came in short, shaky bursts as pain shot through her limbs. She fumbled with her seatbelt and turned toward the front seat. Her parents went moving, twisted, broken, gone. She tried to scream, but nothing came out, only the distant wail of sirens and the cold realization that life as she knew it had ended. Present day. Lucy Peters' side was only 18 when her world shattered. She had been the sole survivor. Her parents, the backbone of their family, were gone in an instant. She became responsible for her 4 younger siblings, Isabelle, Lucas, Eva, and Ethan. She had no choice but to grow up overnight. While others her age were chasing dreams, Lucy put hers aside, stepping into a role she never asked for. She became mother, father, provider, and protector. With no higher education and no real skills, she turned to petty trading, selling anything that could keep her siblings clothed, fed, and in school. She denied herself the things young women longed for: fashionable clothes, leisure, romance. There were nights she cried silently so the younger ones wouldn't hear. Days she walked long distances because she couldn't afford transport. Days she went hungry so her siblings could eat. Moments customers insulted her and she wanted to quit, but couldn't because her siblings had to eat. Every penny went to them. But her sacrifices went unnoticed. Isabelle, the second child of the family, was everything Lucy wasn't. Flashy, charming, and breathtakingly beautiful. Her beauty had been fed, nurtured, inflated by years of comparison. From childhood, relatives would smile at her and say in Lucy's presence, see how flying she is, very different from her siblings. They said it casually, carelessly, never noticing how Lucy's smell dimmed each time they spoke. If Isabelle washed a single plate, they clapped like she had built a house. See how hardworking and humble she is, even with her beauty. But Lucy could scrub the entire compound, cook, wash, babysit, and still be scolded for leaving a cup out of place. When Lucy made a mistake, Her parents' voices rose in sharp reprimand. When Isabelle made the same mistake, they would say, she's just tired, she's a delicate girl. Isabelle grew up praised for doing the bare minimum. She learned early that beauty was currency, and she owned all the notes. Lucy, meanwhile, was expected to be the mature one, the responsible one, the child who understood. Responsibility never sparkled the way beauty did. Isabelle basked in the attention, growing up with a sense of entitlement. She saw Lucy as plain and beneath her. Yet, Lucy possessed a quiet, effortless beauty. Smooth dark skin, gentle eyes, soft features. But survival left no time to highlight it. Isabelle, on the other hand, perfected the art of manipulation. She learned early that beauty could open doors, that men would always fall for a well-placed smile. She looked down on Lucy's struggles, believing that if Lucy had been more feminine, life wouldn't be so hard for her. Lucas, the third child, did the bare minimum, always complaining about what Lucy provided. Eva and Ethan believed they were too young to help. Not once did they ask, "Lucy, how are you coping?" Years passed. One by one, her siblings graduated because of her sacrifices. Still, they never saw her pain or her loneliness. She turned down suitors, afraid that marriage would take her away from her responsibilities. But by the time she turned 28, the youngest had just finished secondary school, and for the first time, Lucy allowed herself to hope. Maybe, just maybe, she could finally live for herself. Then, she met Sebastian. Sebastian was everything she never believed she deserved. Wealthy, calm, gentle, spiritual. He admired her resilience, her humility, her quiet strength. For the first time in her life, Lucy felt seen. And for the first time, she allowed herself to hope. But Isabelle couldn't stand it. She couldn't understand why a rich and successful man like Sebastian would choose Lucy. What does he even see in her? She scoffed. She doesn't even dress well. Now, a university graduate, Isabelle believed beauty granted her access to the best of life. She was used to wealthy men falling over themselves to please her. In her mind, Lucy, plain, tired, and overworked, had no right to someone like Sebastian. Deep down, she carried a jealousy she would never admit. Lucy's inner strength made her feel small. People respected Lucy without her trying, and that burned Isabelle deeply. So, she set her trap. She didn't have to try hard. Sebastian was a man, after all, and men were weak to beauty. Isabelle made herself comfortable in his space, visiting him often. She dressed in ways that left little to the imagination, laughed at his jokes, listened to his business troubles, and slowly, ever so subtly, she planted a seed of doubt. "Lucy is amazing, but do you really think she's the right fit for your world?" she would ask. "She doesn't understand the kind of life you live. You need someone who fits your class, someone who can stand by your side in high society." And Sebastian, like so many before him, fell for the illusion of glamour. Meanwhile, Isabelle showered her siblings with gifts, using Sebastian's money. They didn't question it. They loved the outings, the expensive clothes, the attention. To them, Isabelle was the generous one. Lucy was the boring one. Lucy discovered the truth in the cruelest way. Sebastian didn't even have the decency to say it to her face. He called her on the phone. "Lucy, we need to end this. I'm with Isabelle now." Her heart cracked. She confronted Isabelle, trembling. Why? Why would you do this to me?" Isabelle smiled, not with guilt, but satisfaction. "Don't take it personally, Lucy. You can't blame a man for wanting the best." The words stung. But the deepest wound came when she turned to her other siblings. Lucas shrugged. A man like Sebastian choosing you was a miracle. Eva muttered, he was never really yours. Ethan whispered, Isabelle told us not to interfere. Lucy's chest tightened. You all knew? She breathed. Eva looked away. Lucas rolled his eyes. Ethan stared at the floor. I gave you everything, Lucy whispered, voice breaking. Everything! And you repay me by helping her take the only man I ever loved? Then Isabelle delivered the final blow. We never asked you to sacrifice your life for us, so stop acting like we owe you. Something shattered inside Lucy. Tears streamed as years of buried pain erupted. I raised you. I gave everything, my youth, my dreams, my happiness, so you could have a life. They fell silent, guilt finally flickering. I starved so you could eat. I worked myself sick so you could go to school. I turned down love and opportunities, and you repay me with betrayal? Eva's lips trembled. Ethan wiped his eyes. Lucas finally looked shaken. But Isabelle scoffed. You're being dramatic. Lucy stared at her in disbelief. You stole the one good thing I had. He chose me, Isabelle said coldly. That's not my fault. You manipulated him, Lucy snapped. And the rest of you let it happen. Because she bought you gifts? Because she took you out? You sold me out for money. Lucas swallowed. Lucy, we didn't think it would hurt you this badly. Lucy let out a bitter laugh. Of course, because you've never cared to think about me. Silence fell. For the first time, they saw the depth of the wound they had caused. But the cracks were too deep to mend. Lucy wiped her tears, stood tall, and said the words that stunned them all. I'm done. At 28, Lucy packed her old, worn bag and left for Port Harcourt. No goodbyes, no explanations, no regrets. For the first time in her life, she chose herself. Meanwhile, Isabelle thought she had won. She stole Lucy's love, her place, her life, and wore her victory like a crown. But what she didn't know was that life was quietly preparing the perfect moment to humble her. And when karma finally came for her, it didn't knock, it kicked the door down. Watch out for part 2. For more African folk tales and inspiring stories with moral lessons, subscribe now.